All right, today is March 24th, 2025. My name is John Carrigan. I moderate the BYOB Trading Room. Got a lot of new faces here in the room. Got a lot of people that are really committed to being day traders. I'm so happy for you. I feel like you made the right choice. I know I might not be everybody's fit, but I'm so happy you're here. And I've got this recording going, and I'm just going to break down what I do every day. Let me make sure I can zoom in and zoom out. All right, so that's not working, so give me just a second. All right, just exit this for a second and then juice it back up. And somebody asked me a question. I don't know. Mel, you have to ask your broker on that one as far as IRA. All right, let me get this going here. And I want to move this over. Okay, I'm just getting set up here. I had to reboot. And I'm going to move this over. You'd have to ask your broker, Mel, about that. All right, so can I cover SPY tonight? I'm just gonna. This is for some new people, and I'm going to cover as much as I can to help them out, Mel, right now. All right, because we got some new people in the room. Yeah, I'll cover a little bit of SPY. I think I pretty much have to. Yes. All right, so let me just flip back here. All right. And Stelton, you can just chat right here if you got some questions. All right. Right here in the room, right in this box, just like Mel and Kathy and Harry. Okay, great. You can just talk to me right there, ask all your questions. Okay. I'm gonna start off. First of all, I'm gonna say this, okay? I trade probably one product. All right, it's called the SPY. Okay, that's pretty much all I trade. All right, I do trade QQQ. I do sometimes pick up some other products. Very rarely do I trade anything other than the SPY. That's pretty much all I trade. Day after day after day, and because I trade that, I'm intimately aware of how price works and how price reacts and what moves it and what doesn't move it. All right, so I trade the SPY almost every day, and I do options on the SPY. All right, now I will do QQQ, but most of the time I'm trading the SPY. I don't have to, because I do this, I don't have to go look for the latest, hottest stock or the one that's moving the fastest or the highest or is got the biggest percentage gain. Some people chase the big percent gainers. Some people chase the big percent losers. Okay, I don't have to chase anything other than this. All right, I wait for this, the SPY. It's a ETF. All right, I wait for this to fall into my lap. That's all I do. I trade this over and over and over. All right. And you can see, I do quite well with it. All right. You can see right there, I do very well with it. Okay. So over and over. That's all I do. I just trade this one product. Okay. And my trade is I've got 2 or 3 trades. Most of the time, it's either a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. Okay, 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. And I especially like it when price is peeling away from VWAP. Okay, so what does that mean when it's peeling away from VWAP? Okay, so see how there's separation from the 10-minute trend and the brown line. Brown line is VWAP. All right, that's this brown line right here. When there's separation, All right, that's when I can make a lot of money. Whenever I see space between the VWAP and the 10-minute trend. See right there? That was a bad one. Try this one more time. Right through here. See the space? Okay? That's where I make money. Is when there's space there. All right? When price chomps back and forth over VWAP, I don't make much money. All right? It makes for a choppy day, and it will chop up your account. Okay? So be careful not to. If you see the 10-minute trend crossing over and under VWAP two or three times before lunch, all right, then it's probably going to be a choppy day. You probably just want to stand down. All right? If it goes down like one candle or up one candle, and it just chomp around right there. It doesn't make for a great trading day. Okay? My best trading days are when price rips away from VWAP. Like, see like this? That's a chop day. Right there. Okay, that we had one trade that's this day right here. Take my pan. Okay, we had one trade this day, and that was the move down. And then for 5.5 hours straight, you can see price did not leave VWAP. Almost every candle is attached to VWAP. Okay, those are days you just stand down. Don't even get involved till you see price break a rubber band candle. Okay, now you're probably going to ask me, what is a rubber band candle? All right, there's a point of interest, and my point of interest is VWAP. Okay, so I need one candle that's attached and one of the biggest free-floating candles that's away from that attached candle. All right, so if we don't break below this, see this red tail down there? Okay, I'm going to circle it just so you can see it. Okay, if we don't break below that tail right there, then I'm probably not interested in trading this for the rest of the day. Okay, because look, everything is attached. I need the 10-minute trend to break away from VWAP. See like this? Lots of opportunity there. See that opportunity? Lots of opportunity. It's when you get the space, all right, between that 10-minute trend and the VWAP, that's where the big opportunity is. Okay? Right there. That's what I'm looking for. See, price breaks away. There's some right there. There's some right there. Some right there. Some right there. Okay? And then again, see, here's the brown line. Right there. Right there. Right there. Okay? Every time I see price break away from VWAP, that's my opportunity. You can rest assured I'm probably trading it. And then on the downside, okay, right here, right here, right there, right there, okay? When price breaks away from VWAP, that's where my opportunity is. So that's what I'm looking for, is a 10-minute trend where the trend is breaking away from VWAP, okay? So I'm looking, that's pretty much all I'm looking for. It can go up. It can go down. I don't care if it goes up or down. Either way, I can make money when it does that. All right? It's very easy to make money. Here's one right here. Here we got some more. All right? See price breaking away up there. That's where the opportunity lies, all right? So I trade SPY. You can do SPY and QQQ. You can do just SPY. You can do just QQQ. You can do SPY, QQQ, and you can trade the futures as well. If you want to trade the futures, okay, you can see, you can get up here, and you can see that the futures chart is going to move much in the same way. All right? And you can trade the futures at the same time. I usually trade a 15-minute on the MESM. Okay? That's the micro, E-mini, S&P 500, okay? And I use these moving averages. I use the 8 and the 20 and VWAP. That's this line right here, okay? Whenever I've got a trend that's over VWAP, that's a playable event for me, all right? This is going to follow this right here, the SPY. All right, they will match up candle for candle on a 15-minute chart or a 10-minute chart on the MES. So you can do all three, you can do all four, you can do all six. All right, you can do the SPY, the QQQ, you can do the MES, all right, and the MNQ. Well, actually, it's four. Okay, do all four at the same time. All right, they pretty much match up candle for candle. All right, remember the QQQ. All right, the Nasdaq 100, okay, is going to mirror the QQQ. All right, excuse me, the Nasdaq 100, which is the QQQ, is going to mirror the MNQ. All right, which is the micro E-mini Nasdaq 100. Okay, so either one of those. Okay, but that's what I trade. 10-minute trend over VWAP. All right, now today's trade was a simple trade. Okay, it was a big gap. All right, but it's a simple trade because, let me zoom in here so you can see it. Take this off. Let me pan over. Okay. And, okay, you can barely see it because the green candle is there, all right? But there's this yellow line, and the yellow line is up over the white line right through here. You can barely see it, but you can see the yellow line right there. Okay, so we had a 10-minute uptrend coming into the close last night, all right? So at 4 p.m., we had a 10-minute uptrend. So all I'm looking for in the morning is continuation, all right, of the 10-minute uptrend. All right, so all I'm looking for is a green 10-minute candle, all right, that's moving up, okay? I don't want a spinning top, all right? I don't want a doji candle, all right? And I don't want a red candle, and I don't want a candle with more wick than body and tail. Okay, your success, all right, is going to be 100%, if not 99%, 90%, depending on your ability to understand what's going on inside a candle. Okay, and what the candle groups are saying. They're speaking to you, all right, and you got to know what they're saying, all right, and I'm gonna show you what they're saying so you can understand, okay. So whenever I've got, okay, a candle with more wick than body and tail, okay, that's showing me bearish control. It could even be a green candle, but I've got more wick than body and tail, showing me the bears controlled that candle for the most part, that 10-minute candle. So I don't want that candle. So I will wait and stand down until I get my candle. All right. And my candle's a nice green candle. All right. Not something that's red, because red would show me bears or sellers are in control. So I'm very picky about which candle I'm going to enter on. Okay. You want to get it right, and you want to get it right the first time, all right? So I want a bullish candle because I got a 10-minute uptrend coming into the close, all right? So I'm looking for a continuation of that uptrend. Now we gap up here. Now when we gap up there like that, I like to fill it in, all right? That's just me, but I like to fill it in. So if price gaps up there like this, I fill it in, like right down to here. That's where it stopped. And drag this down. That's where it stopped. Okay, I like to fill it in. So now you look at that candle. That's a big green candle, right? That's huge. All right, it's a nice big green candle. All right, but I'm not trading that. I'm just trading the first 5-minute, 10-minute candle. All right, so I need it to be a good candle, something that's not a spinning top. I don't want a little doji. I don't want anything that's showing me bearish control. All right. That's what I don't want. All right, I want something that's green. And lo and behold, this first 10-minute candle, or you can do the 5-minute candle. I'm on a 15-minute chart. All right, but you can see here. Let's take a look at 5-minute chart. All right, that's a nice candle. You notice that? The bulls control it. Why? Because it's got a lot of tail. That shows me where the buyers are. Whenever I see tails, see the tails? Tails show me where the buyers are. See the wicks? The wicks show me where the sellers are. Wicks show me where the sellers are. Tails show me where the buyers are. All right, so that's nothing but buyers there. That's a nice candle on a 5-minute chart. I could enter on that if I wanted to, but I might wait for the next candle, make sure that this candle isn't erased. All right, the next 5-minute candle jumps up to here. All right, so after minute 4, okay, keep in mind this is a 5-minute candle, so this is now 9:35. All right, after 4 or 3 minutes get through for this 5-minute candle. Okay, so now it's 9:38, 9:39, and this candle looks like it's going to close solid green like this. I can enter in on this. I can enter in on this one, or I can enter in on this one. Either one fits my parameters. All right, that's what I'm looking for the continuation of the 10-minute uptrend. Okay, notice the 10-minute uptrend keeps continuing on through. All right, here's that 10-minute uptrend. Okay, so I can enter in on this. All right, and my stop would go 20-30 cents below the low of day. All right, if it breaks that, then I've got a bearish engulfing, and I've got a problem because the 10-minute uptrend is coming to a halt. All right, so my stop's going to go 20 cents, 30 cents below the low of day. All right, because a lot of times they will target those first 20 cents below the low of day, and then they'll turn around and rip it right back up. All right, so that's normal. Expect that to happen sometimes. Okay, but that's where I want. I want to get in on that candle right there, that 10-minute candle. Nice candle, buy in on that. And I can hold on to this, all right, as long as the 10-minute trend stays intact, okay? In order for the 10-minute trend to stay intact, I need the 3 EMA, that's the yellow line, to stay above the 8. Okay, I like that. Okay, so I got a 10-minute uptrend. Now notice, VWAP was way down here. Okay, you see how VWAP jerks up to here? All right, so really we have a 10-minute trend, okay, but it's not quite over VWAP, all right? But that's because VWAP starts out brand new, all right, on the next day and starts right where it left off. So you can see it jerks all the way up there. So I got a way of handling that. Okay, and I'll show you. I take my anchored VWAP, see the anchor? I just dragged it from over here, and I put it on the low of day on the day before. So that's right here. Okay, now I'm just going to take this one off. Okay. Here's the low of day anchored VWAP. All right. I go through a lot of stuff, so I'm not going to be able to cover everything, but I'm going to get you through some of the basics. So now I've got a low of day anchored VWAP on the day before. Now is that 10-minute uptrend above this anchored VWAP? The pink line right there. Yes, it is. Now you see the opportunity. All right, you've got a 10-minute uptrend over anchored VWAP from the day before's low. And notice how it's running away from the anchored VWAP pink line. All right, so I will trade and stick with this 10-minute uptrend as long as possible. Now, keep in mind, whenever I get candles that are far and away from the 3 EMA, I like to take micro profits. So for instance, if I bought 10 contracts right here, or I actually bought about 20, and then I bought a couple hundred of some other stuff, all right? But anyways, when I see profit, when I see price far and away from the 3 EMA, okay, up here, place to take profit, up here, up here, up here, okay, away from the 3. Where do I reload? All right, back here at the 3. That's where I reload, right here, at the 3, right there, right there. So I take micro profits away and reload near the 3. That's what I do. Now, you don't have to do what I do. You can just hold the whole shebang until you see bearish engulfing, or you could hold the whole shebang, all right, the whole position, until you see the 3 cross underneath the 8. Either one. You could wait for bearish engulfing. You could wait for the 3 to cross under the 8. You could wait for price to cross under the 8. Either one, you got to decide how you want to manage the trade. All right, there's 3 or 4 different ways. Hold it all until bearish engulfing. Hold it all until you get a doji that is violated. Okay, there's an idea right there. See the doji, and then this tail comes below the bottom of that doji. So that doji got violated. Take all your profit there. That's one method. Okay, you could wait till price crosses the 8 EMA right here. All right, that's another method. Okay, you got to decide which one you like to use. All right, you can wait for the 3 EMA to cross under the 8 EMA. That's another method. Me, I like to take micro profits up near the top. All right, that means I'm already capturing some profit as price moves up. All right, and then I reload near the 3. That's what I do. It's not what everybody else does, and I understand it. A lot of people like to hold all the way up there. That's great too. Either way works for me. All right, the whole thing is your goal should be 1% of your account each day. All right, 1% of your account. So here's my spreadsheet. All right, I make a little spreadsheet. Let me see if I can open it up, and my spreadsheet right here. Okay, so this is my schedule. I started with 27,000. All right, so my very first day, I got to make 1%. 1% of 27,000 is $270. So 270 was my goal on trading day 1. All right, so I made 276. All right, so now my goal the next day is going to be 272. All right, and I keep compounding that over and over and over. And then my goal is to make 1% each day. Now, as soon as you get your 1%, okay, you can book your 1% and then hang up your hat for the day and paper trade the rest of the day. Okay, that's one way of doing it. All right, all right. Me, I will encourage you, okay, while you're learning, to paper trade at least the first week. All right, at least the first week, okay, to see if you can get a paper account to grow. All right, that's the most important. Can you get the paper account to grow? Once you've got the paper account growing and you feel like you're ready, all right, to introduce small amounts of real money, okay, small amounts, all right, and see if you can get that to grow, all right. Once you get a handle on it and you're able to manage the risk and manage the money and manage the trade, okay, it's a lot of management there, all right. Once you can get that to grow, then you can add a little bit more money, all right. That's the way that I trade, okay? You start out on paper, you learn the concepts, all right? You see if you can get the paper trade. I see if I can get my paper account to grow, all right? And then as I'm doing good with the paper, I introduce small amounts of real money, and I make sure I can get that to grow. If I can't get that to grow, then I stop. I go back to paper and I try to figure out what I did wrong. Now, the only way you're going to figure out what you did wrong is if you track your trades. If you don't track your trades, you cannot even help yourself. So really think about getting a trading log. All right? Make up a data sheet and see where and when you went wrong. That way somebody can help you. All right? So the second thing is you're going to need a trading plan. All right? And I know nobody wants to write a trading plan, but let me just share with you. I have 2 or 3 starter trading plans right up here in the files. Okay, just going to take that off for a second. I'm going to take all of this off for a second. Okay, and you come down here. Okay, now how did I get here? Let's look at how I got here. Okay, here's the screen. I come over here to files, and then I come over here to files. Okay, I've got images here, little learning slides right through here. Lots of learning slides. All right, these will help you. Learning slides. All right, don't print them out because they're black, and then black ink will take up all your ink. Just download them and put them in a little file folder. All right, somewhere on your hard drive or on a flash drive. Okay, all right. Study them. When you learn them, you can delete them or you can keep them forever. Either way. Okay, so all of these slides here, little learning slides for you, all the way down to what I'm sharing is gold. Okay. Little learning slides all right there. That's just some of what I teach. Okay, on the files. Here's a trading log on August 12th. This is all being recorded. So if you miss something, you can come back and watch the video. All right, and you can see, oh, John said August 12th. Okay, you can see August 12th. There's a trading log. It's the same trading log that I use. Okay. Trading log right here. Okay, and then you want that spreadsheet that I use, this one, the 1%. Okay, that's right up here, 1% version 1. That's March 14th. Okay, and then over here, come on down a little bit further. I got a bullish trading plan and a bearish trading plan to start you out. Okay, now they're not personalized to me or anybody. You can just open one up and you start writing rules about how you want to trade. I'm going to risk 2% of my account, no more than 2% of my account. Okay, that might be one of your rules. I'm not going to trade after 2:30. That could be one of your rules. That's a really good rule, by the way. Okay. And then you got a bearish trading plan, all right? Okay, I'm not going to trade after 2:30. That's an excellent trading plan. That's an excellent rule to have in your trading plan. I'm going to make my daily goal and paper trade the rest of the day. That's a really good rule to have in your trading plan. Okay? Either way, there's all kinds of rules, all right, that you want to set in your trading plan. Your trading plan is going to be the blueprint for you on how you're going to trade, hey Frank, and what you're going to do each day. All right. So if you have trouble coming up with rules, all right, just get with me. I'll help you come up with a few rules. I'll help you ask you questions. Where do you want to enter? Okay, when do you want to get out? How do you want to manage the trade? Okay, I'll ask you a few questions and then we'll keep working on this trading plan till it just continues to print you money. All right, that's what we're going to do. We're going to make this trading plan and we're going to tweak it and tweak it and tweak it. And it might take us 30 days to tweak it to finally get it to the point where all it does is print you money 4 out of 5 days a week. All right. Maybe sometimes 5 out of 5 days a week. All right. So you get 2 trading plans here. January 5th, January 5th, back in 2024. Okay. So you're going to need a trading plan. All right. Don't get scared about it. It's very simple. Okay. Mine is very simple. I'm going to trade a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. All right. If it's the beginning of the day, I might trade 10-minute uptrend over the prior day's low anchored VWAP. All right. That might be one of your rules. All right. That's an easy rule. And you can see if you'd have traded that in your rule, you would have made money. All right. Easy peasy, right? All right. We're going to make this really simple. All right. And it's a really simple concept. And you're going to make money. All right. Let me just say this, okay? It's going to take you more than 30 days, all right, to learn everything, because it doesn't all come together at once. All right? It's a process. It's a process of reading the candlesticks. It's a process of looking for clues. It's a process of looking at different time frames to see if anything's different, to see if you're at a spot that would cause a reaction. Okay? So it's not going to happen overnight. But I can tell you some things will happen overnight. All right? Like growing your account. All right? I make it look very easy. All right? It's not. If you ask many traders, it's not that easy all the time. Okay? But when I do it, I make it look easy. All right? But you can do this. All right? Because you got me to help you. All right? Let me just say this. I also, as a member of the BYOB services, okay, I offer free 15-minute coaching. A lot of times these coaching sessions go over 15 minutes. I'm okay with that. All right? I offer free 15-minute coaching sessions. All you got to do is find me on Skype. All right? Right up here. Okay, this is me. Same picture. Okay, just find me on Skype. All right, this is me. Profile right there. Okay, see, that's me. Find me on Skype. Tell me who you are. All right, say, I'm so-and-so from the BYOB Trading Room. This is my username in the room. All right, I would like to set up for a free 15-minute consultation or coaching session. All right, you got to tell me who you are, because I get a lot of people that want to send me, like, I don't know, half-dressed pictures of, whatever, okay? And they're probably just jailbirds looking for attention, all right? But just let me know who you are when you do contact me, okay? That's it, all right? That's it. Just let me know who you are. I am from the room, and I want to set up free coaching. And I do it on Skype, and I record it. And I record it so you guys can... You don't have to take notes, all right? You can just download the recording right afterwards, and then you've got that to keep as a memorial to whatever we just did, all right? I'm here to help, all right? I'm here to make you a successful day trader. I'm committed to it, all right? If you don't succeed, I failed. That's how I feel, all right? If you're not successful, then I failed. All right. I can print profits all day long. All right. I know exactly where to go, what to look, what to find. You can see there's the proof right there. I can find profits all day long, all night long. I can do it in the futures. I can do it, on the QQQ, on the SPY. Doesn't matter what it is. I can do it. But the point is it's not important to me that I can do it. I need to see you do it. All right. And that's where it comes down to. I don't know what you know, and I don't know what you don't know. All right? And the only way to do that is by asking me questions. All right? And that was the first question, was a great question. All right? Was, hey, where do I get started? Okay? And that's a big question. It's a big undertaking. But don't be scared. Okay? You can do this. just understand it just doesn't all come together overnight. Okay? It'll take you longer than 30 days. I'm going to say this right now. This is probably the hardest thing to learn. Probably more difficult than qualifying to be an astronaut, qualifying to be a professor. Okay? All right? But if you put the effort in, okay, you can do this. All right? You can do this. If you can understand your emotions, yeah, that's another one, dealing with FOMO. If you can understand your emotions, all right, and manage your trade and understand that not to get too big, because if you get too big into a trade, all right, fear is going to take over inside of you and it's going to cause you to mess up. All right? So you got to start small and gradually increase your comfort level. All right? It's just like lifting weights. All right? You start off with, 40 pounds. All right? Then you go up to 45. Then you go up to 50. Now you're up to 60. Okay? Gradually increase. Okay? Okay? Because if you start out and you get too big into a trade and it starts going in the wrong direction, you're going to freeze like a deer in the headlights. All right? And you're not going to know what to do. All right? So start out small. All right? Learn how to shut a trade down that's not working for you. All right? That way you're not getting hurt by it. All right? If there's ever a point that you start losing money, okay, I advise you to stop what you're doing, all right, and go back and revisit what went wrong. If you don't know what went wrong, get with me so we can figure it out, all right? That's the last thing I want to see you do is lose money, okay? I look at the space between Stelton. Are you also looking? Okay. Are you also looking for there to be space between the candles and the ADMA? Yeah, I'm looking for space to be opening up. All right, let's go back to that chart for just a second. Yeah, I want space there. It doesn't necessarily have to be big space. I like it when it's big space. All right, but I need there to be space, and I need to see price moving away. Okay, it's got to be moving away from this pink anchored VWAP. Okay, it needs to be getting further and further away. Okay, I don't need this to catch up to this. I need this to continue moving away from it. All right, it doesn't matter if there's space in between. It's preferable if there's space in between. All right, the 8 and the 3, or the candles, the 3 and the 8. All right, it's preferable that there's space, but I need to see all of this structure moving away from this, not this catching up to it. All right, that's the most important part. Okay, and I need to see price action, more up candles. I want to see more green on the chart than I do red. I don't want to see equal red, green, red, green, red, green. Okay, that doesn't work for me. When you start seeing equal red, green, all right, and the price structure is not moving up, then it's not working, okay? You want to see, remember what I showed you, see all the green right there? Notice there's no red, okay? That's what you want to find, okay? That's like super fantastic. See all the green? Green is the dominant color there. You see that? This, okay, not so much. Red, green, red, green, red, green. Okay, notice it stops running away. It actually starts to melt back down. But look here. Now you see the green, the new 10-minute uptrend is running away with lots of green in it. It's the dominant color. That's the one you want to find. That's the one you want to trade. That's the one I like to trade. Right there. All right, so there's a lot to go over, okay, from the beginning. Okay, let me just explain a few things. I look for clues every morning, okay? I'm trying to look for clues, okay? Bearish gap down. Notice price ended here the day before and price gap down. Did the bulls fill the gap? No. Okay, that's a red flag. That's a red flag if I'm a bull, right? If I want to be a bull, that's a red flag. We're not filling bearish gaps. We're not making higher highs, okay? Now, we did make these little micro higher low, higher high. That's good, okay? So I have to look at all of the clues. Okay, so what's the next clue I look at? Okay, I got consolidation over prior consolidation. Okay, that is a bullish environment. Okay, that's a bullish environment, but still got that bearish gap down that hasn't been filled. All right, so that's still lingering in there, but I do have a bullish environment here. Okay, so consolidation over prior consolidation. That's bullish. All right, what else is bullish? All right, again, I'm always looking for clues. Okay, a bullish gap that didn't get filled. That's bullish. All right, when price structure, okay, moves up and holds the higher ground, that is a bullish clue. All right, that is a bullish environment. All right, so when I see bullish environment, I'm looking for longs to trade. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. I want to see what type of environment I'm in. All right, I'm making a higher high. Here's the high, made a higher high. Okay, that's a bullish environment. Okay, price structure, again, consolidating, okay, over prior consolidation. See that? That's a bullish environment. Okay, price up over anchored VWAP, also a bullish environment. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying putting it all together. You got to understand what's bullish, what's bearish. So again, I don't know what you know. All right? But I encourage you to ask the questions. And don't be embarrassed, okay? Because nobody else is concerned about fast tracking your learning. All right? Nobody but me. All right? So don't worry about what anybody else says. And I'll tell you, nobody says anything in my room. Nobody says anything. There are no stupid questions in my room. Okay? There isn't. Everybody takes it as a review every time someone asks a question. All right? So don't think you're asking a stupid question. All right? Remember, this is your learning curve. This is your opportunity to fast track your learning. So now is not the time to be shy. Now's the time to speak up and ask questions periodically, anytime you don't understand something. All right? John, why did you trade that? John, why did you pick that? John, why are we on this? John, why are you going short? Isn't the market long? Okay? Ask the questions. All right? Ask the questions. You're not going to learn unless you ask the questions. So don't be bashful. All right? And try to pay attention as much as you can. All right? Now, I come in at 8 o'clock in the morning. All right? When I come in at 8 o'clock in the morning, I come in with a game plan. All right? I come in with a game plan. And let's see if I can get this up here without messing anything up. Okay? Come in with a game plan every single morning. Okay? All right? I'm going to go all the way to the top. Okay, here it is. Early in the morning. 1:30 in the morning, okay? See that? They're already in here. There's a SPY game plan and a QQQ game plan. Okay, again, you don't have to print them out. All you got to do is put them in a file. You want to look at them, you just blow them up like this. I give you the numbers right here. I give you the pivot. I give you the green erases red. All right, I give you the red erases green. All right, right there. I tell you which options I like. I always like Friday options because Friday options have more open interest. Okay, I always like $2 to $5 out of the money because I got a small account. All right, and I can't afford to take in the money options. All right, because they cost a lot. All right, I can afford to take out of the money. Now I realize, I'm not going to get the performance that I would if I had an in the money option. All right, the best performing option is always going to be your 0 DTE. That's 0 days till expiration, as in that's going to expire at 4:15. All right, on that trading day. All right, that's the 0 days till expiration. That's going to expire at 4:15 for the SPY. All right, and it's in the money means if I'm buying calls and price action is at 564, all right, in the money is going to be below that, so 560. So it's going to cost me at least $4 because if we're at 564, there's $4 of intrinsic value there, all right, plus whatever other value there is in the fact that how much time is left on it. Okay, so it's going to cost me more than $4, maybe $5, $6 a share. Now remember, each option, all right, covers 100 shares. All right, so I'd be paying 6. All right, let's just say there's 6. All right, I'll get my calculator out so you can see. All right, remember each option is 100 shares. So if I'm paying $6.50 for that option, I got to times that by 100, all right, because there's 100 shares to a contract. So that's going to cost me $650. All right, if my account's 27,000 and I want to use 2%, all right, that's 270 plus 270. All right, it's 540. I don't have enough to get not even one in the money contract, all right, that far in the money. See, if I'm only going to risk 2%, all right, of my account, 540 is all I got. I can't even get one in the money contract. All right, it's just too much. All right, so you got to know what you got to, that's why I'm saying you got to have a plan. I don't want to lose more than this, all right? I don't want to see you losing more than what you're comfortable losing, all right? And you shouldn't be comfortable with losing anything more than, anything more than like $400. That should be like max, all right? $400, anything over $400, that's way too much, all right, to start off losing each trade, all right? So no more than $400. So we only want to risk $400. All right, so there's a calculator. That way you can determine how much you want to risk. All right, so if you're starting off an account, you got 27,000, 2%, it's going to be 540. 1%, it's going to be 270. All right, see, 27,000 times 1%, okay, 270. Okay, times 2%, 27,000 times 2%, 540. See? All right? Don't want to be risking more than $400. Okay? Because, you lose four trades, all right, at $400. Okay, that's $1,600 you're down. We can't have that. That's not going to be good. All right, especially for starting out a new account You can't fall below 25,000. All right, otherwise you're going to get flagged for pattern day. You're going to get flagged anyways for pattern day trader. Okay, and with that, you cannot allow your account to go below 25,000. All right, so it's imperative that the first trades we get are winners. All right, they got to be winners. That means they got to really look good. So here's the game plan, and I give you the game plan every morning. Now, not all the time will the game plan work. You can see we gapped up all the way up to 570 up here. Okay, so we were way up over 563.70. We didn't like come up through it, all right, which would have been the entry. We gapped way up here, all right, to 571. So we had to enter way up here. That's scary because we got all this room to fall back down. All right, so there's SPY. So that should help get you started. Let me see if you got some more questions. All right, 10-minute uptrends over VWAP, 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. All right, futures, yeah, in this case, yes, in this case, option did not lose too much time value. Yep, you want to make bucks. That's right. All right. So this morning, I don't know if you saw today's video, okay? This morning, I said, I got, come all the way back here. I said at 9:38, okay, 9:39, okay, I'm getting 10 of these and 10 of these. Now, okay, now look. These are $6.39 a share, okay? I got a bigger account now. Okay, started with 27,000, but I grew it. All right, so I can afford to get 10 of these and 10 of these. All right, as a new account, you're probably going to have to get out of the money options, all right, with not that much time left on them, probably closer to 4 days till expiration, all right, because they'll be a lot cheaper. All right, so you'll have to pick something a little bit less. Remember, we discussed just one contract right here was more than 2% if you had 27,000. Okay, this one you could have bought this one, the 580 at 546, because 540 was your 2% right there. You could have bought one of those. Okay, so I traded these. And I made 610 because that was my daily goal was 570. So up here I sold it for 610. I don't know where it is. It's coming up here. It's up here somewhere. Right there. See? 11 days till expiration. I sold my 10, all right, and I captured, my daily goal was $540, okay, because my account was up to 54,000, so I had to make my 1%, so I captured my $610 right there, all right. Now, if you'd have had one contract, that would have been $61 right there. Okay, one contract would have only yielded you $61 because this was 10, so divide that by 10, $61. Right there. Okay, so I told everybody I'm getting in here, and this is what I'm getting. Now you have to follow your plan, whatever you can afford as 1 or 2% in your plan, all right, to purchase. Okay, you got to find something that you can afford, that you can live with, okay, in case it gets stopped out. All right. So there's what I traded this morning, and you can see how much I made. I traded the 11 days till expiration 575, and I traded the 18 days till expiration 580. Okay, and I traded them 2 times. Okay, so there's the 18 days, I made 2,121. All right, and then the 580s, which are 575s right here, 11 days, 1,058 right there. So I traded this one and this one. So together, all right, that was $3,000. So that was my goal, all right, was 540. So you can see I made well over my goal, 6 daily goals almost right there or more. Okay, just trading that in the morning. All right, all day. Well, actually all day because I had 2 trades for that day. All right, so again, in the files, okay, you'll find the trading plan. Get a trading plan, all right, and start working on it. All right, you're going to want to trade. All right, I like a 10-minute uptrend. If you like a 5-minute uptrend, I'm not here to judge you. I'm just here to help you. All right, find something that works. All right, and if we find something that's not working, then we're going to change it. Right? That's the most obvious solution. If it's not working, we're going to change it or we're going to cut it out. Okay? Because if trading the afternoon, you lose all of your profits that you made this morning, then we're going to cut out trading in the afternoon and you're going to paper trade it instead of trading it with real money. All right? That's all there's to it. We're not going to continue to lose money. All right? The point is to get better, not to go backwards and get worse. All right, so that's what we're going to do. All right, so I said free coaching. You guys know how to find me there. Okay, my main thing is I trade SPY. All right, over and over, day after day after day. That's all I trade, SPY, because I know how it works. All right, I know what bullish price action is. I know what consolidation over prior consolidation is bullish. I know when the bulls hold a gap open. Okay, that is a bullish environment. Okay, so that's what I look for. I look for clues each day so I can make the right decision when I trade. Okay, now I told everybody, all right, even traders in the room, even traders that are watching my videos, okay, I said, see this valley between the 2 peaks? Okay, I don't know if you saw my morning video. Okay, got a valley up here. Here's a peak right there. There's another peak right here. Okay, see this valley low? I said price is going to want to come back and test that valley low. Okay? And I've been saying this since last week. All right? There's a good chance we're going to come back there. And look at where we ended up with today. Okay? Right there at the spot that I predicted price would come to. Okay, at the same time, the all-time high anchored VWAP is landing on the spot. Okay, we pretty much knew that's where price was going today. All right, was to that spot. That made it easy for us to trade. That made it a nice, easy day knowing that price was going to this spot. All we had to do was buy calls and sit through all of this. All right? To know that price is going for that spot. All right? And the closer price gets to it, the more magnetic it's going to be. It's going to be like a Hoover vacuum. It's going to suck price right up there to it. Okay, an average 10-minute uptrend, all right, will last. All right, let's just look at a few of them, okay, Frank? All right. All right, I looked at one the other day with another trader. Okay, so let's go to the 10-minute chart. This 10-minute uptrend lasted. Okay, that is okay. I'm not going to count last night because we entered this morning. So 10:30. All right, so 9:30 is when the market opens. Okay, and this lasted till 12:30 right there. 12:30. So that one was 3 hours. Okay, let's talk about this one right here. This one started, see the 10-minute uptrend starts at, well, basically 250. You call it 250. All right, we'll call it 3. This one lasted an hour, and that's because we ran out of time. The market closed. Okay, so there's a 10-minute uptrend lasted 3 hours. That one lasted 1 hour. Here's one here, right here. This one starts at 12:10. All right, and it lasted right up until, I'll just call it right there. That's about 2:10. All right, it double topped up here, about 2:10. All right, so that's 2 hours there. Okay, here's 10-minute down. That's not a 10-minute downtrend. Okay, so here's a 10-minute downtrend right here, and that lasted from 11, we'll just call it 12, until, well, let's just say it bottomed out right about here, and then you got the bullish engulfing. So that was 12. So that one was 3 hours. This one was 3 hours. This one was 3 hours. This one was an hour and a half right here. This one was an hour and a half. Okay, so a good 10-minute trend is going to last you probably, count on an hour and a half or more. All right? Hour and a half. Now, there's times I'm very good at scalping. I'll be in and out in the same minute. So the average time for a trade is kind of irrelevant. It all depends on your skill set. All right? If you're really good at scalping, you can be in and out, in the same minute. All right? It all depends on if price is working for you, and if you got a good fill. All right, Frank, with the 0 DTE, you would have lost money. It's very easy to lose money on a 0 DTE, especially if it goes against you. All right? If it goes against you, it's very easy, okay? Because look at some of these candle bars. Okay, this candle starts at 570.22, and it ends, just this 10-minute candle, all right, 572. That's a $2. That's a $2 candle right there, Frank. All right? If you've got 10 contracts and you're in the money, all right, that's $2,000 in 10 minutes vanished if you're on the wrong side. All right? You understand what I'm saying? If you're on the wrong side of a 0 DTE in the money, all right, and you're on the wrong side of it, that right there is a $2 10-minute candle. Inside of 10 minutes, $2,000 just vanished, just like that. Yeah, you have to stay in longer. Yes, you do. You have to stay in longer, but you're not risking as much. Okay, with the 0, you can see what I just said. $2,000 vanishes. All right, if it's penny for penny performance, all right. Just think, if it works for you, it can work against you. All right, so if you're on the wrong side, okay, there's $2,000 vanished just like that. All right, so I got my game plan. I trade 10-minute trends up over VWAP, 10-minute trends over anchored VWAP, especially when they gap up big like this. I don't have a good read on VWAP because notice VWAP chases price down. So I have to use anchored VWAP. See how VWAP chases price down? I can't use it. So I have to use anchored VWAP. All right? But notice price is moving up and away, up and away. Now it's no longer moving up and away. It's coming back close to, see how these are now starting to converge. They're getting closer together. That's not good. All right? We want to see separation where price runs away from the anchored VWAP. All right. So that's just a short little ditty on what I do. All right. And again, I don't know what you know, so you have to ask me questions all the time. All right. Do the best you can as much as you can. All right. But you can do this if you're dedicated to it. All right. And I think I'm a good teacher, but if you're not making your account grow, then I'm not a good teacher for you. Yeah, the morning overview is awesome. I come in at 8 o'clock every morning, and I review the market, and I tell you what I want and what I see and what I'm looking for. And I tell you in the morning, I'm looking for a 10-minute candle, continuation candle in the morning. I tell you this before the market opens so that you are prepared, all right, to trade that 10-minute uptrend of continuation. Hey, no problem. Thank you for, seeing the value in my content. I love that. Thank you for taking the step, taking a risk on me. Thank you, Frank. Taking a risk on me, all right? I appreciate that. All right? I'm here to help you. I like I said, I want nothing more than to see you succeed. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen this. You'll see this. I'm not a success until you're a success. All right? And I mean that. And that's why I do the coaching. All right? Okay? I mean that. Because I want to see you guys succeed. I want to get you to the point where you don't need me. All right? If that makes sense. I don't want you to leave. I mean, I think I grow attached to like all the members here. I love them all. I cheer for all of them. But I want you to the point where you don't need me, but you like hanging out here, so that's why you stay. Oh, thanks, Delton. All right. So, all right. So that's it for right now. This is recorded. I'm gonna put it. All right. It's right up here. I'm gonna put it right up here in the alerts. All right. Okay. A little training video, a little orientation. All right. So you know what I do. Okay. All I do is I trade the index. The SPY and the QQQ. That's pretty much all I trade. If you're looking for somebody that chases rounded bottom breakouts or pop out of the box and all that stuff like that, that's not me. All right? I trade the index. I do it with options because I can leverage my money. All right? And I do it over and over, and I wait for a trade that comes to me. Yeah. Oh, I wanted to show you guys right here. You guys, in case you don't know it, all right? You come up here to your home page, hit resources, public webinars. All right? So here's another one, huge candlesticks, wicks, tails, and huge candlesticks. All right? All kinds of videos, not just mine. They're from all the guys through here. See, here's one from Rick. Okay? And there's 20 pages with 10 on each page. So there's, see, examine the price action, looking for clues. This is me. That's one of my videos right there. Okay? Examine the price action. All these videos, all right? Right here. Okay, entry placement. A lot of good videos right here. Okay. All through here. And wait, there's more. E-learning. Okay, you can see each of us do a take on setting and adjusting stops. All right. Make a plan, trade the plan. I just showed you that. right? I showed you. I come up with a SPY trading plan every morning so that I can trade it. See, all kinds of e-learning. Just come up here to resources. Okay? You got public webinars and e-learning. Okay? Go to the home page. Go to resources. You'll see both of them right there. Okay? All kinds of good videos right there. I just gave you a quick summary of what we do. All right? I didn't get into support and resistance. I didn't get into a whole lot of risk management. I didn't get into a whole lot of trade management. And I didn't get into like there's a whole mess of things of skills that go along with just trading. All right? Trend continuation patterns. There's one. Okay, so all right up here. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. All right, it's 9 o'clock. All right, I got to be back here at 7 in the morning so we can get everybody started. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you. I will see you guys. Yeah, that's the latest video, what Roasted just shared with you right there. But I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna run it off on YouTube, and I'll put the link right up here. Okay, right up here in the alerts. All right, that way you guys can see it. All right, I'll see you guys in the morning. Thanks. All right, again, participate, ask questions. All right, the room works. I'll tell you why the room works. See right here, these are the people making money. See $2 signs? That's a daily goal. $1 sign, profit booked. Okay? People are making money. You can too. All right? You can do it too. And I trade right in front of you. I'll turn on this screen over here, screen 2, and I turn on this screen, and you can see every single trade that I take. Right, I think that's it right there. Is that it? Yeah, I think that's it. Is that it? Yeah. So you'll see all the trades that I take right here on screen 2. Okay? So go to screen 2. See screen 1. Go to screen 2. And you'll see right here, these are my executed orders. Okay, so in other words, these are orders that got filled. Okay, these are the filled orders. These are the positions. It says positions. Okay, this is trades. So that's filled orders. Okay, over here are orders that have not been filled. Okay, so unexecuted orders down here. Okay, and then over here, this is my profit and loss for the day. Okay, shows me what I made, what I lost. Right there. So there's profit and loss. Okay, right there. Positions, unfilled orders, completed trades. Right there. So I trade right in front of you so you can see it. You can see me trade right in front of you. All right, I'll see you guys in the morning. Everybody have a great night.